Hello, everybody. Welcome, Pisces, to your July 2020 reading. It is so good to see you. I'm going to turn down the camera and you'll see why I've been so busy. There have been a ton of messages coming through for your sign today. I was literally probably up every 3 hours getting some information. So definitely save the best for last. And there's sometimes a little bit, like, the reason I don't do more than one reading a day is so that I can channel what's coming through. There's a lot of information coming through for your sign today, and I cannot wait to share it. By far, this is probably the biggest download that I've received. So a little bit of love here from Apollo, and then we're gonna get started, okay? All right, buddy, let's go. So first things first, I just wanna introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and I'd like to welcome back everybody. I didn't get a chance to say hi to my moderators before I got started, so hello, Ryan and Maria. Hello to everybody that is a returning viewer. And if it's your first time here, let me tell you a little bit about how everything is organized and what to expect here. So again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be looking at the month of June for the sign, the month of July for the sign of Pisces. For those of you that are watching in June, some of the stuff that's in the past, deep past and recent past will still be relevant. For the rest of you watching in July, all of this should gel in. And a lot of the messages coming through really are for the rest of this year. There's some big things that are kind of putting you into a 2 to 3 year journey from what I'm seeing. And I can't wait to talk about that in the channeled portion. The 4 main parts of the reading are the psychic download or channel information. We're going to go a little bit longer today. There's a lot to go through in that. Then we'll go and use the cards that I selected to look at a Celtic Cross, looking at high points, looking at any sort of challenges that you might have. And also, really helping you exercise your free will. That's why I show up. I really want to help awaken everybody, show you the opportunities, and help you see the paths of either least or most resistance. And then you can make a choice that makes sense for you. We'll expand the forecast, taking a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And then I really enjoy the latter portion, and I can't wait to see where it takes us today in respect to the soul path. This is where we look at past, present, and future influences, particularly in areas of like release and healing. And there should be a lot today that come through. So we'll look at that and then we'll meditate and integrate everything that is coming through for this month. Okay. A couple of quick notes as I'm getting started here. If you would like to show support during the reading, there's a really quick and easy way to do that. It's called Super Chat. I do not answer questions. Like, I know a lot of readers will do Q&A or, they're going to take personal questions. I don't do that, but if you want to support me, this is a great way to do it. It helps me continue to buy new decks, and it also just lets me know that this makes a difference for you. So it's this little icon here, and again, it means a lot. And after the reading is on replay, I'll put a little thank you underneath. In the meantime, it's just a nice way to show support. So thanks again to Ryan and Maria for helping hold this space. Let's get started. There was so much that came through today. This, I think, is probably the most information I've received for any sign ever in a download. So again, there's an advantage to being the last that I read for because my third eye is wide open and I've had the whole month to kind of like really observe the energy for what's happening. Last night, I was actually like visited by like planetary sort of symbols. Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter were coming to me with different messages. And there were also like storylines that came through for each of those planets. So I've separated the reading into those 3 parts of your chart. I should mention, by the way that I designed this reading is for your sun, rising, and moon. You can also use it for other aspects. So if you happen to have like Pisces in one of those areas, you can also use that. But okay, let's talk about the first planet that I was focusing on. It was Mars. In particular, I was seeing the moons of Mars. There are 2 different moons, Phobos and Deimos. And one of them, Phobos, stands for fear. And if you kind of look up the astronomy of these 2, like what's going on, not just the astrology or the sort of mythology, one of them is going towards the planet and is either going to get kind of pulverized and create a ring system. This is Phobos. Or it's going to just kind of become part of the planet. It's like crash and burn, basically. The other one, Deimos, is going on an orbit outside, and it's going to get ejected, basically. And it's a smaller one. It kind of looks like a star from the planet. where Phobos gets bigger and bigger because it's getting closer and closer. So these two, to me, were symbolizing a relationship or a path that you and someone else might be taking that is diverging. So one of the big sort of themes of the month of July for Pisces is, if we were to put this in the realm of tarot, it would be the Two of Swords or the Two of Wands, a journey where you're looking at an opportunity. I think one of you could be looking at the Two of Wands, where you're kind of gazing into the opportunity and getting excited about what's possible. Another one could feel like you don't know where you're going. It's that kind of crash and burn energy. And so there's two ways to go. Your path is your path and your path alone. If your friend, if your partner, if this person that I'm seeing or this energy around you is willing to take that journey with you, awesome. I think that was what it was always intended to be then. If not, what I was also picking up on was sort of like a journey of the soul versus the ego. So for the soul path, I actually feel like there's a little bit of the energy of Phobos, which is about integration. It's taking that energy and bringing it within. So yours could be an inner journey of discovery and integration. The other person, I feel like, might be on an ego path, where it's more about achieving, exploring, learning, but in a sort of external way, and kind of learning by going outward, where one of you is going inward. So this is also some of the divergence happening. There could also be aspects of your own life, your own soul, where you're going to be going between these two extremes. Sometimes you're going to want to kind of hermit in, to use a tarot term, and then the other time you're going to want to be like the fool of the world and expand outward. So contraction and expansion, it's a big theme this month, and I feel like you should give yourself permission to go between the extremes, or to go to one extreme or the other, whatever feels good. Because for you, this is an important decision ahead of you. So this divergence is an important thing to kind of embrace and know that, just like the Two of Swords, I think the worst thing that can happen sometimes when you're faced with opportunities is too much vacillation or too much doubt, or getting in your headspace to a degree where you miss a window, because at least one window will open up over the course of July, and you really want to be able to go through that. Of course, Mars is about war, and we're in a retrograde. So by the way, the retrograde goes from Mercury retrograde from June 18th to July 12th. So be careful during this period, obviously, with communication. But the one thing that Mars can help us with is to passionately go after what we want. So fight for what matters. And just like Deimos going outward and kind of leaving orbit, you can also release what you don't need. So it was really interesting that the two moons of Mars were coming to me and showing me the different orbits, showing me the different path or divergence or choices. And I feel that's what you have, a choice. You can stay and fight, for those of you in a relationship where there might be some issues and you have to decide, like, do we want to make it work? This could be a month where you kind of like really work together, like fight for what you want. You could just be fighting and you had enough of that, and maybe you're deciding to go your separate ways. No matter what you do, there's growth to be had. So I think it's really important for you to sort this out in your soul. But I do see, for most of you, a divergence. That's what I was looking at. The second big energy that came through to me was that of Saturn. Saturn is something that you can love or hate when it comes to astrology, because it's one of the tougher energies. It basically makes you face what you need to face, whether you want to or not. Your fears, it keeps you accountable. But this is where I feel like there's big tower energy that's coming through. And this is like a 2 to 3 year journey for you. Even if you're not on a Saturn return, I see you starting a new chapter in your life. The chapter can be a lot of fun, but there was a feeling of missing out. So I feel like some of you are afraid that this other person that might be getting ahead a little bit further or going a little faster than you is somehow, you're feeling like, but what do I do? What about me? And what I was seeing was, it's A-okay. You're exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. You just have to make some internal decisions to understand, like, just as Ryan said, it's going to clear out whatever you don't need, and it's going to open your mind to sort of like what's important. But in the dream, I saw myself crying, and I saw like this sort of guide coming in and saying, would you like to cry? Do you need a hug? And I just melted into the energy of the guide, and then I laughed. And so what Saturn was telling us to do was to have a good cry, have a good laugh, release and transform the fear. Saturn is not there to hurt you. It's actually there to steer you in the right direction. And if you listen to the energy of kind of what you were afraid of, then you're going to be able to start to embark on something where you could experience like a new job, a new relationship, some sort of a move or a new path in your life. That's the portal. Saturn is actually helping you get into the portal. Mars is saying like, it's getting your heart and your soul sort of excited. It's lighting the fire. Saturn is saying, now deal with this. And you need to maybe sit still for a second and fix something here, or go down this more difficult path. That person may be taking a shortcut or maybe going towards a path of fame and recognition. Yours is long burning though, because after that, I saw Jupiter, which is about expansion. And that's a great energy to come through. A lot of like fiery planets and then gas giants were coming through to me. So with this one, I saw like a rocket in flight, and I literally was looking up to the night sky and I just saw, this is like the divergence of paths. Imagine you're going in one direction and the other person's going in another direction. What's important here is to figure out where that is. And I think that the energy that we were talking about earlier about figuring out who you are, who they are, and trying to understand, are we still on the same page? Are we going to go together? Or this separation doesn't mean that either of us is better or worse. I do feel like that's part of this journey, is independence. It's kind of like, if you're younger, this could be your chance to move away, figure out what you want to do. Maybe you're breaking away from the family's expectations of everything that they ever wanted you to be, but you suddenly have discovered who you want to be. Maybe you actually are in your Saturn return and you think like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you've made a big shift in your life. For me, that's when I decided I had a psychic awakening right around my return, when I was in my 30s. And then, it changed everything for the next several years. It's why I am where I'm at today. So I'm very grateful for that return. And I'm trying to get ready for the next one so that I have everything in order. And I think for a lot of us, this is what it's saying, whether you're on it or you're between it, this is a really important time. So get your direction, really be focused on that vision, find some velocity and move forward. And those dreams are going to take flight if you do that. Okay. So, there's some really, really great things coming through. I'm going to go through this one more time, and then we're going to get into the cards and see how this connects. So the messages from Mars that came through, of course, on a sort of very literal level, it's about passion and fighting for what you want. So fight for what matters, release what doesn't matter, because as we saw with Saturn, you're going to have to release that anyway if you don't want it. For many of you, there's a divergence. Perhaps it's a divergence between family and your personal goals, between you and partner goals, between what your boss wants you to do and what you want to do. I just get this energy of independence and sort of like free will that's coming through. Your inner warrior. That's why Mars came to me. And you're going to probably find yourself on one side or the other. The two moons were really representing the ego and the soul to me. Some of you are going to go inward, like Phobos is doing. Some of you are going to go outward, like Deimos is doing. No matter which journey you're taking, you're going to be getting rid of fear and anxiety and dread, because these two moons are named after sort of fearful aspects. And these are things that would hold you back. Fear usually is just coming through because you're, you need a little bit more information, you need a little bit of encouragement, or you just have to push yourself and take a chance and believe in yourself. Work on those things. Then with the energy of Saturn coming through, it's important for you to face the fear, face the uncertainty, have a laugh or cry, talk to someone. I saw education as a part of this. This guide reminded me a lot of like a counselor or a teacher. I mean, that's what a guide is really. So some of you may decide to embark on, personal education or sort of like some sort of an inward path, for those of you that are going more on the path of the soul and discovery. And it's going to take a couple years for this to finish. So you may start and plant the seeds in July, but what I'm seeing is a couple-year journey for you. So don't be afraid to sort of think, wow, I guess I'm committing myself to something for a few years, but it could be really exciting, because ultimately, if you love it, even if you're lacking the support or understanding of others, it's all about expansion. It's a very auspicious energy, Jupiter. So that's going to really help you grow in ways that you could have never before. It's the biggest planet in our solar system, second in size only to the sun, and gravity and everything. It's amazing. So set your sights and kind of be on this rocket journey towards the new destination. Your dreams are super important. That's something I've talked to every single sign this month about, is have a dream, honor that dream, feed it, nurture it, and then it starts to sort of take flight. So despite the fact of not getting as much sleep or rest as I needed to, every time I woke up, I was tapping it into my iPhone. And before we got started today, it was taking me a long time to write all these note cards. Again, I just want to show you there was a lot of writing to do today to get ready for your sign. So just know that it was worth the wait. There's a lot of great messages. And I feel like this month is super pivotal for you Pisces. Let's take a look at the cards. I feel like this is going to be like putting a set of glasses on and help us get a little bit more clarity. And hopefully we can make some sense of all of this for you, okay? So let me just carefully get these cards organized, because after I go through this, we'll review it. And I want to make sure that they're here and in order for that review. All right. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down, and I will be focusing on just getting everything set up. So please be patient for a moment or two, and then I'll explain everything that's being shown to me. So welcome, everybody. I didn't get a chance to hop in the chat room because I was writing a mile a minute on all these cards. So I just want to say welcome from across the world. I appreciate everybody showing up in different time zones and making time today to see what's coming through for Pisces. One of the other messages that came through, my guides are reminding me of it now, was sort of with the moons, the sort of energy around eclipse. And part of the reason that some of you might be diverging is because of either someone that was trying to overshadow you or eclipse you, and you learn something about that, just like we would in the moon card in tarot. A lot of times it takes certain events in your life to sort of see the true colors, and that was something that I didn't capture in the cards, but my guides just kind of reminded me of as I was going through this. And it kind of came through here, actually. All right, so many great cards coming through. Let's talk about what they mean for you. Okay, so we'll begin with your catalyst. The catalyst is a connective thread between everything that we're talking about, and there's a lot of things to talk about. Helps you stay on the highest possible energy. It can also help you avoid any potential pitfalls. So we have the stingray here, which is a sort of stealthy and aerodynamic animal that usually, if left undisturbed, is not dangerous, but that I know that the tail on this can actually be deadly. So one thing that I think you want to be careful of this month, if you were to think of your own ability to kind of embrace that energy of the stingray, is decide when and where you're going to use that Mars energy and fight. Because if used effectively, you can really make an amazing thing happen in your life. And that force and that sort of like strength is something that people will respect. But if you do something where you know, it's just kind of like words coming out of your mouth, there could be something that happens where you break down something that's important. So fight when it matters, but don't fight just to fight. What I also like about the stingray is that ability to move quickly and the aerodynamic. I'm really paying attention, kind of, it reminds me of the rocket ship that I was seeing. So many of you can kind of pick your moment to really move forward and believe that you can go faster than you can normally, because that's sort of the opening yourself up to the idea that this could be faster, this could be easier, in fact, does make it faster, does make it easier. And I think for you, you have an ability to be swift, move swiftly. You can fight when you need to fight, but just try to save that for very special occasions. So you have a secret weapon this month. Use it if you need to use it. Don't if you don't. Sometimes just knowing that you're strong, or knowing that you have a plan B, or you have a way to get out of something, gives you the power, gives you this sort of confidence, and helps you get through it. So I think that that's really important. All right, we have the Eight of Cups in the center, and this is a card that I would expect to come through in a retrograde, Mercury retrograde. The card is reversed, but I want to show you what it says here in the caption. It actually says rebirth, which is cool. I mention a lot of times that some readers forget, but for me, Eight of Cups can be a second chance. It's not just about someone from your past. It can mean like you get a chance to go back and learn something that you didn't before, achieve something more easily than you have in the past, and really sort of like, I'm seeing someone in my mind just kind of with the sails, like the wind beneath the sails, kind of you're moving forward. This time you could just imagine, I've got this, it's easier. The card is reversed, and this reminds me of what I was talking about in my meditation, or the channeled message, which was just needing to have a good release, a cry, a laugh. In the dream and meditation, I quickly went from like crying to laughing that I was crying, and then being really happy to be with someone that didn't care. And they were kind of, just saying like, let it all go, it's okay. Sometimes I feel like we edit ourselves too much. So just give yourself a chance to really have a proper release of that. And this is going to heal the past as well. There could be something from your past that you're kind of holding on to. And this is the month to just let it all out. And once you do that, it's kind of like you can make sense of it. It's almost like throwing out all these puzzle pieces. And if you do it in just the right way, you can see a new arrangement that's going to make this even stronger or better. Okay. There is an element from the past, however. I think it just could be for you a chance to finish something that you started, but never gave yourself a chance to properly complete. So maybe this could be going back and getting a GED, going back to school. It could be a relationship where you always wondered, like, what would have happened if I said I'm sorry, or if I called. This could be just something where you tie up a loose end. The rest of you could just be a chance to maybe mourn the loss of something and celebrate now what you can do with the future. We have the Wanderer here right on top of it, the Fool. And this is a big part of what I was picking up on with, like, especially with the Jupiter type energy, expansion, risk, chances, also the divergence when I was looking at the two different moons. You're going to go your own way. It's like that old Fleetwood Mac song. This is your chance to try to be happy. Maybe it's being happy alone. Maybe on this journey you'll run into someone else. It doesn't matter. It's actually the exploration that is the important piece. And not comparing yourself. I don't think I have it here, but for me, the other thing that I was thinking of is kind of like the Four of Cups, which is the grass is always greener. And I think for some of you, that was what might be holding you back from making that fork in the road. So forget about comparison. It's really about what you need to do and what feels right to you as well. As we look at the deep past, we have the Lovers, which I love because it doesn't matter where this shows up or if it's reversed like it is. The Lovers card is very, very positive. It's a magnetic energy. And it's showing me that you've done a lot of work in your life to help others, probably be in service of others, because a lot of times when I see like Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, Lovers reverse, even the 10 of Cups, it just means that you're very service-oriented or other person-oriented, where you just want them to feel okay. I want you to feel okay. And that's what this card is saying. Be willing to accept that embrace from the universe, because for me, it was a cosmic guide. I have no idea who this person was, but I just felt this. It was almost like Mother Earth was hugging me, because I got this very earthy energy from the guide. But I felt at ease. It felt great. I wasn't really crying when I woke up, but I was definitely crying in the dream. And it just I felt much better. And I feel like you would as well if you just go through it. And for me, it was not, when I was crying, it wasn't the tears of sadness as much as it was being overwhelmed. Have you ever just had so much going on that it's like, I need a moment to just break down for a moment, because this is a lot. It's stress. It felt like stress or overwhelming energy that just needed to come out. So laughing, crying, physical activity, there's a lot of ways that you can get that out. Artistic endeavors, dance, etc. You need a channel for this, and you need someone in your life to help you out. This is one point where it would be really helpful to just have somebody else receive your energy. You've done enough giving, let somebody receive. And it's your turn. I'm sorry, like receive your kind of complaints, your sadness, your fear. You're not going to be of service to them. You can then like receive their love, but it feels like it's important for you to to offload a little bit, particularly if you are a teacher, a therapist, a nurse, a doctor, or just somebody that people call up on the phone and talk to all the time. This is your chance to say, actually, I need you to listen, or I would really love just for you to be here. I don't need your advice, because it felt like it was a hug. The guy didn't say anything other than you're going to be okay. But like they gave me a hug and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be okay. So I think that's super important for you this month. Then we have the star card. So exciting to come through. It was reversed, but I'm not worried about this. We're in a retrograde, so reversals are to be expected. There is a special meaning though with the reversal. Upright shows that you know exactly what you need to do, who you are. You're not afraid to show or to shine that sort of energy on the world. And it's kind of, this is like a North Star. It's called the pole star here. So when you shine like that, you can actually inspire others and you're walking your soul's journey, your soul's path. When it's reversed, what happens a lot of times is we feel a sort of a necessary energy to kind of mute our light, to change ourselves, to please others. And it starts at its earliest level with parents, teachers, and your extended family and society. When we're a little kid, we don't have all these sort of switches, editing and turning things on and off, but it happens pretty quickly. By first, second, or third grade, you start to doubt yourself and start to judge people and things like that. So what we want to do this month, probably in the meditation, as I do the latter part of this reading today, is try to unlearn what you've learned so that you can remember what you already knew. And I feel like that's it. Know yourself, be yourself, do whatever you need to do to expand or integrate into that, going again into the kind of combined energy of both Saturn and Jupiter. Like once you figure that stuff out, then the expansion is possible, like with Jupiter. So I feel like you got to go between those two energies this month. Deal with the difficulties, start to find your confidence, and then go down that path that's been waiting for you. So we have 8 of Cups and 6 of Cups here. 6 of Cups can be a connection again with someone from the past. So 8 of Cups is making and breaking cycles. 6 of Cups can be a reunion. A lot of times this is healing between a friendship from the past. It can be brother, sister. It can also be a parent relationship. It's very usually intimate and close and something that you would care about. It's in the upright position this month. So if you feel pretty good about those existing intimate relationships, this is showing a very attractive energy for you to call in new partnerships, new opportunities. And it's a playful card. We don't see the children on this one. I think instead we have a couple animals here kind of playing in the background. But the idea behind the 6 of Cups is that if you're young at heart, you're still young and you still have the energy here of the Fool or the Wanderer. And I think that if you can just be playful, take what you're doing seriously, but don't necessarily take yourself so seriously. Allow yourself to trip, to fall, to make a mistake, to say something wrong. It's not so much about that as it is what you do after that, the recovery, the integration. That's the important thing this month. So have a laugh, have a cry, dust yourself off, move into the right direction, and don't give up. There's actually a really good song by Peter Gabriel that says "Don't give up." He did a duet with Kate Bush, and I feel like that's a good one just to kind of listen to as well. All right, looking at near future, this is where the rocket was that I saw. We have the Ace of Swords. It's arrows in this particular deck, but once you've made a decision, the thought alone actually opens up the portal that many of you will be working on and focusing on. So I think that there's some really exciting movement that can happen around the midpoint of the month. It does require just clarity of mind. So I think do whatever you need to this month to really kind of put some plans on paper, give yourself time to meditate. And whenever I see swords, I also think of like writing and speaking being really important too. So this would be a time where maybe it's not necessarily even like a school counselor. It could be an actual counselor where you talk things out. Have you ever noticed with a friend or a family member, sometimes if you just talk on the phone, you organize your thoughts? So I think for you this month, it would be really helpful to just hear yourself speak. Again, I feel like you need to be listened to. So somebody needs to receive that kind of energy, but you don't have to give anything else except just kind of getting that, whatever that is inside. You need to allow yourself to kind of express yourself and just have a good listening ear. And then you're going to be able to assemble your thoughts and make a plan and really start to feel the speed pick up a little bit. Before that happens, how are you feeling? Are some of you just tired? Because we have here a beautiful, probably one of the best indications of the Four of Swords. We see rest, and then we see the beautiful butterfly over top of it, which is showing change, metamorphosis. The caterpillar has to go into metamorphosis or to chrysalis before it can become the butterfly. So for many of you, if you're not sleeping, if you're not resting properly and taking care of yourself, then this isn't possible. All of the meditations, all the sort of messages I got for you, I had to dream about them. I had to kind of focus. Like, I'm at my best sometimes when I just close my eyes and let the universe come in. You should try it sometime. Sometimes, like, what I'll do if I'm trying to figure out a problem is I'll go to sleep with the thought, show me what I need to see. Because obviously I'm in my waking hours, this is getting in the way. So go through the third eye, or go through the heart, and just help me feel it, help me see it. And dream space could be a great place for you to work things out this month. Pay attention to it. Keep a dream journal. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can use your iPhone. Just keep it by your bed or your Android and just tap it out and put it on the notes application there. And then when you wake up, you can do something that I did here, which was just to kind of like, put it on some note cards or have a little journal. But you can just tap it or voice record it as well. I think that's really important too. The other thing with the Four of Swords here is I feel like there's two different things. Be patient, and once you kind of let go of something, that's when something else takes off. So you're going to have to kind of play around with this energy of release, and then also kind of engaging what matters. So there'll be periods where there's a little bit of a plateau, and then all of a sudden I feel like it takes off. So don't panic if it takes a little longer than you think. It should start to pick up after you feel like you can handle it, no matter what way or what's going on. We have the 10 of Swords in reverse here. The interesting thing with this one is this 10 of Swords is less about feeling like you are like you're failing. It's actually, what are you learning from the journey? So in this particular deck, wands are the bows, the arrows are the swords. And this one is really about figuring out, what can I take from that journey? What am I learning from the difficulties that I've experienced? And you see all of these swords or arrows kind of coming in together into one point. There's a purpose for this. So if there's been anything that's been painful in your life, the card is reversed, it's in the environment. This is where it's time to walk away from that. Make a decision now that, I'm going to do something different with my life. I don't need to deal with this pain or with this uncertainty anymore. I'm ready now for something bigger, something better. And I've learned my lesson. So there's an integration on a difficult path that you might have taken. This is Saturn, basically, that came through and said, sorry, I had to teach you like this, but I was here to help you. It's actually this is a beautiful illustration. If I had to kind of get behind what a Saturn return would look like, it would be like, I'm trying to point you in the right direction. I'm sorry it hurt. So if we can look back on relationships, possibly with the father, possibly with other people in our life that just didn't work out the way we wanted them to, then we'll realize, but I probably wouldn't change anything because I'm right here, right now, and I'm ready to start an awesome chapter in my life. So thank you, and please, no more of that. Let's go to the easier stuff now. I'm ready for expansion instead. In this deck, this card is, it's actually the Hanged Man. It says the Mirror, and you would think it's the moon because it looks like that, but it's not. It's the Hanged Man. The card is reversed. Let's look at this sort of serpentine figure a little bit. So we have her holding up the moon and looking at the mirror. And we had the energy of two moons coming through. And I said that for many of you, the sort of like this energy of being eclipsed or needing to figure out what it is that's making you afraid of something, like whether it's a decision of a path, it's going to be really important. The card's reversed, which tells me there is a fear of kind of like, when will I be able to move on? This anticipation, this lack of patience. And this is saying, you've got this, it's okay. You don't have to force anything right now. I feel like everything's starting to happen naturally. And the only thing that is required is a leap of faith. So I feel like now is the time to act. The waiting is over. There's just this internal journey of deciding, like, I'm okay. I'm going to let go of this pain. I'm ready for the excitement and the opportunity that's in front of me. And I think that once you work on your self-confidence a little bit, this is what's going to help. We have the 5 of stones or 5 of pentacles here. And this is a sort of mild and meek card here where you know you've got the fire, you know you have the ability to make something beautiful happen. But for some reason, from the past, perhaps, somebody's made you doubt it. You haven't embarked upon it because you've muted your light. So what you've got to do this month is to go straight into the energy of the star. Really be yourself. Take a risk. Go after what it is you're supposed to do, and know that it's going to bring you on to the right path. 5 of Pentacles, of course, when we're looking at monetary situations, says be smart about things. Some of you may be at a point where it's kind of like a break-even card. You know, I much prefer the 6 of Pentacles because that shows that you have more than enough, that you're in the black, so to speak, like not in the red, financially speaking. So you're starting to make money. But the 5 of Pentacles is break even. So if you're in a relationship, if you're in a job, or if it's just your life in general, there's something about it that until you decide to really sort of embrace the wanderer, it's not going to move. You've got to take that step this month. All of these planets that were waking me up every 3 hours were telling you, fight for what you need, release what you don't, face what it is that you need to really kind of fix in your life, and then expand. Why are you waiting? That's the main sort of, if I had to summarize those. And then your path may take you in a different direction from everyone else in your life, but you might find some wonderful people as well. So I hope that that helps. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and then get some additional lenses of insight on what we just talked about. Health card, we have contact. So first of all, from just a pure intuitive point of view, health for me can be mind, body, and spirit. This kind of reminds me of the pineal gland or a third eye awakening. Also kind of opening up your throat chakra. And I don't know, I picked this shirt today because I felt like there was a lot to talk about. So I wore the color blue. That's a great color if you're looking for something to help you out this month. We have sort of a very intuitive color here, like the crown chakra or the third eye, and then we have the throat colors right there. So if you wanted to wear a pendant or a stone and keep it right around this chakra, that would be a really great idea to help you out. I feel some of you are going to find your voice this month. Speak your truth. If you don't, you might actually even have some problems around the throat, the thyroid, the back of the neck. So pay attention to this part of your body, because there could be sensitivity in this part of your body from a physical point. From a metaphysical point, it's really about activating the throat and activating the pineal gland, which helps with your third eye. And if you stay tuned for my meditation, the singing bowl that I have actually plays a note that helps open up the third eye. So you'll have that fixed, and you could just focus on the throat as well. Also, this is about speaking up. So if there's something in your life where it's not working, it's not right, or you feel like there's something wrong in your body, this is why your vocal activation is really important this month. You need to speak up. You're the one that's going to make the change happen. So when it comes to health, ask questions, be inquisitive, talk to people. Just the talking is going to help. It's going to alleviate the sort of energy that you might be holding on to elsewhere. The 10 of Swords can actually be the back, and I'm mentioning the neck. So it could start here for some of you. See what you can do about how you're holding your neck, looking at your TV or your computer, or how you're holding your phone. There's some stuff going on with that. So focus on health right around your throat area. Focus on open communication. Talk to a psychologist if you need to. Honestly, those are the biggest pieces with health. And you can make and break cycles, because we saw the 8 of Cups. And I really feel like if you could just have a laugh, the Fool card and the 6 of Cups are playful. Spend time with friends, with children, with animals. Go outside and walk if you're single. Whatever. You just need to kind of get out of your head a little bit. And I think that's going to be really important for you. Looking now at wealth, which isn't just money, but also, we talked about the 5 of Pentacles here, which is self-confidence. It definitely deals with that. So across the waters here, for many of you, there's a chance to move beyond what has limited you before. We actually have the beautiful green colors coming in here, the color of the heart. So that's a great color for abundance, but it's also telling me that it's time to follow your heart with respect to career, work, and life purpose. So if you're retired, Maybe you've spent your whole life in service of others and doing other things for other people. And this is a chance now for you to do what matters to you. If you're just starting off your career or your studies, this is saying, please don't let people pressure you. That energy that we saw with the 10 of Swords here, for some of you, you don't have to be pressured by a parent, an uncle, an aunt, a mom, a dad, etc. This is your chance to just sort of say, no, I'm going to go my own way if I need to. So independence and authenticity is super, super important when it comes to career choices. And also, for some of you, you may not be getting paid what you deserve. The 5 of Pentacles is undervalue. So for some of you in a job situation, or if you're working for friends or family, they could just be either taking you for granted or maybe even slightly taking advantage of you. So what we see here is, to me, that indicates a coming storm or a tower moment where you're going to have that awakening. For me, when I dream of lightning and thunder, it's basically God in the universe shaking me up a little bit, saying, like, you've got to change this. If you don't change this, the universe will. So I feel like there's a future tower moment on the horizon, and that's why I had so much energy coming through for your sign. If you make these changes, you're going to be fine. You're going to be ahead of it. If you don't, you'll be catching up. You don't want to do that. I think those are the main messages here. For some of you that are in the performing arts or like creative, we have the Star card here, which is auspicious, but it is reversed. And we have a waiting card here, and that makes a lot of sense because of lockdowns and shutdowns, and things are kind of not in the same schedule as they used to be. Nonetheless, over the course of the next year or so, what I see is things will still take off. So for those of you that had a creative project, endeavor, or vision, hold true to that vision, like this Hanged Man, which is a very weird illustration for a hanged man. It's not the moon, it is the Hanged Man. But this one is saying you've got to keep your eye on what's important. So if you maintain that focus, have some patience, keep working on it, I think some good things can come through. Love. This is very interesting. Like, this is this particular deck, it's an oracle deck, but to me, this would be the Devil card in a traditional sort of, if it wasn't an oracle, because that's what I kind of see as one of the elements of that. It could be the moon, it could be the devil. That's kind of the energy that I would see with trickery. I think what's important for you this month is, if there's someone in your midst who, again, has said something hurtful, 10 of Swords can just be spilled words, things that they've said, it's in the environment where it just feels like that wasn't right, or they're trying to push my buttons. If it's a matter of getting under your skin and making you doubt your self-confidence, or if somebody is just not giving back what you're giving, reciprocity, then this is the month to really bring that into balance. And basically just don't hold any sort of space for people who can't be authentic, who can't show their true colors. Just cut the strings here. That's all that is. Whenever I see a devil card or a trickster card or anything like that, a trickster you shouldn't be afraid of. It's usually there's a little piece of you that has that feeling like, I don't know if I can trust this person. In this case, don't. Okay? I feel like just trust your intuition, and if somebody does something, be willing to take that path of divergence that we were talking about, okay? And yeah, that's super important. Again, also, as I'm seeing here even in chat, yeah, transparency and communication, like with Mercury, you want to be very sure that you are understanding that what the person's intentions are, but also that if they're trying to use an excuse or something, you're just going to bring this to the light of day. Everything's coming through for a reason. So even this is a blessing. It may not feel like it, but it is a blessing. Moving along to your destiny card. This is a different illustration for the star, basically. We have the sun here. It says, enjoy success and happiness. Just like the tarot card, the sun, this is also the ego coming through. You understanding who you are. So I got that sort of joint journey between soul and ego that's happening this month. We need an ego to exist on this planet, but it's not all that exists with us. But I think that once you start to have a sense of confidence and understanding, you can start to pull things into your life that matter. So this is also a playful energy. The sun is a baby, the 6 of Cups are children, and the wanderer, the fool, is at the beginning of tarot. It's the youngest of all of the major arcana. So playful energy, laughter, not taking yourself so seriously, not putting so much pressure on yourself. This is actually going to help you with the sort of opportunities that are presenting themselves. You won't get so afraid. You won't be sort of pulled by the gravity of things. And I was looking at a lot of really big planets, especially with Saturn and Jupiter. They have heavy sort of gravity. So you need to add a little bit of levity so you don't feel like you're getting crushed by the big things that are going on in your life, okay? Let's go ahead and do a quick review of these major messages, and then we're going to move along to the soul path and look at past, present, and future opportunities, really for growth and expansion in your particular sign. That's the main thing that was coming through all night long. So let me turn the camera down, and I'm going to pull all of the cards back out that we were talking about, do a quick review. All right, so starting with the energy of Mars. Of course, fight for what matters in your life. Don't be afraid to walk away from things that are not helping you. There's a general message of choice or divergence that's coming through for you, knowing that there's really no wrong decision. It's what feels good. I think when you tune into your inner truth, your star, it's all going to make sense. You could have a combination of two journeys here, the soul and the ego. So you may kind of be going between the two, or you may have already decided to just maybe take more of a path of inner growth here. So one is external, like exploring and seeing the world. One is internal, integrating and becoming part of something bigger, something greater. And these two things were summarized by the two moons of Mars, one that's going inward, one that's going outward. And also it's a chance to release the sort of lower frequency energies of fear and dread or anxiety. And that's really what Mars had to show for you today. Then I was getting messages from Saturn. And what I was seeing for you was it would be really great to be able to just lean on somebody. And that's what we're seeing with the Lover's card here in the deep past. Have a good laugh, have a good cry, and maybe a little bit of both. And the laughter came through at the end. So again, don't beat yourself up if you have a moment where you just feel really sensitive. That's important. We need to have that come through sometimes. You can't always be a pillar, you know. You're on a nice journey now, 2 to 3 years. If you decide to really embrace what's coming through and face what you're afraid of, and it could be a new job, it could be a new relationship, it could be something even bigger that you haven't expected. Again, for me, this is something where I really felt like when I had my Saturn return, my whole life changed. And I think I didn't even understand it completely when it was happening until I had my own chart read, and I thought, oh, now it makes sense. So it is a thing. It does usually, like, it's a quarter life, almost a little bit past midlife, and then it happens again towards the end of your life. It can happen up to 4 times if you're a really old person, but usually most of us just have it 2 or 3 times. All right, Jupiter, expansion. It's all setting you up for success. I literally saw a rocket in flight. We saw it in the cards here. I was really picky before I got started because I wanted to make sure. I went between 2 or 3 cards, and I'm like, this is the deck, and now I know why, because I needed to see this card. What's important for you to be able to take advantage of that is just to have the direction and the vision. The velocity, the speed, the trajectory, all of that is going to follow, but you need to stay focused. You have a secret weapon this month. It could be something people don't realize. They're undervaluing you, and that's really what the stingray is, and I'm seeing that now as we do the review. Wait to use that sort of hidden weapon or that element of surprise. And this is your chance to kind of come out of the eclipse. That's what I saw. Some of you were eclipsed by someone or something else. What you're going to do this month is come out of that and really show your true colors. The star and the sun energy is coming through. It's shining. I think before maybe you were only showing like the part of your energy, part of your light. It was kind of partially eclipsed, or like the sort of corona around it. That word has a bad connotation now, but it is sort of the beautiful spears that come out from a sun. I just need to clarify that. All right, center card. Actually, if we just read down the center, it's all relationship energy. I should talk about that. You know, this month it was so much more important to focus on yourself than on others that I didn't really talk about who's coming into your life. That's not my way of doing it. But if there is something, I'll mention it. I'm not really seeing a person come in this month. That doesn't mean that you can't find love. It just means that there's a lot of personal work to be done. There could be a chance to heal a relationship for the past for some of you, because we have lovers, 8 of cups, 6 of cups, best friend, ex-lover, someone that you have a second chance with. There's definitely that energy. If you're married, it can deepen as well. But also what you really want to be mindful of is communication. And are you staying in it for the right reasons? If that's something that you're in, is it just for sex, or is it just because this person's giving you security? This is a chance to really clear that kind of thing out if you need it. Because ultimately we have independence at the center. So if you're with someone great, if you want to find someone great, but actually the overarching energy of July is that of personal exploration and journey. So love is there if you need it. This month, lean on someone. I think that's the main message with the lovers. Be yourself, don't mute your light. Really try to find your North Star in your soul, in your heart, in your ambitions, and that's going to be very important. 6 of Cups, have a good laugh along with the Wanderer here. Cry, laugh, do a little bit of both, but try to have some fun. Ace of Swords, things are starting to take off, but we have a lot of personal communication that's going to happen here. You're the one that's doing it. We have the contact card here, even looking at your health. So do what you need to do to make yourself happy. Say what you need to do as well to make that happen. 4 of Swords, rest that gives way to transformation. So if you've been waiting for a long time, as we saw with the Hanged Man, imagine now that things start to take off like fireworks or a rocket. The pain that you've experienced was there to push you in the right path. Whether you know it or not, like the Saturn energy is there and it's trying to help you out. And that's what I see. This can also be father energy in your life or mentor energy that just is trying to help you, but may sometimes work counter to your trajectory. And if that's the case, that's why I was seeing the divergence. Ultimately, you should end this month having more self-confidence. I want you to embrace the positive energy of the 5 of Pentacles, which is really understanding self-worth and starting to build on who you are, finding your true sense of power, as we see here with the Sun card. For many of you, it's a rebirthing process, getting back to the real you. And that could be your secret weapon, as someone forgot who you truly were, how strong you were. Say what you need to say. Talk to somebody this month. Great month for getting a therapist or a friend and just letting it out. I think you need to do that if you're in a place where it's just sort of, again, you've been listening too much. There needs to be a release. For the rest of you, your voice has great power. That could be your secret weapon. Work on activating throat chakra. Connect it to your pineal gland, your third eye. And this is where you're going to actually surprise even yourself, perhaps, with your ability to come up with some great profound ideas and things. Good month to write. This is communication. And that's connecting it to your intuition. And with 2 star cards in here, that also is really, really good. Wealth, across the waters. Water to me symbolizes sometimes sadness, definitely emotion. For you, I think it's important to pull at things that bring you happiness, really start to create a journey that makes sense for you. And know that even if that means walking your own path, you're doing it with joy. This is a very happy Fool, by the way. You see the little rainbow, and there's positivity in the future there. So we're not seeing the fear. There's nothing snapping at its heels. It's a pretty happy Fool. All right, looking at love, there is something this month where you might have a revelation moment, like a devil card, where you see someone for their true colors. Be grateful that happened and let that person go if that's something that's going on. Don't try to get away with anything. And if other people are trying to get away with something, just know that it's going to come through. The light of day will be seen here. We've got the sun right on top of it. Whatever and whenever this happens, it's really for just for revelation, understanding, and for you to be able to feel like I've got this. I don't need this person, place, or thing to feel good about myself, to feel good about my life. Okay. Let's go on now to the next part. We're going to work on Soul Path now. And with the Soul Path, we're going to really try to help you with the expansion opportunities that seem to be presenting themselves. So let me take a quick drink, and then we're going to look at past, present, and future. And let's see what we can do. Yeah, I don't know what you've been doing, Pisces, but this is some pretty intense energy, so I feel like there's a lot of opportunities in front of you. Just keep up with what you're doing. And if you felt stuck, like we saw with the Hanged Man or the 4 of Swords, I don't feel like it's going to be a stuck sort of energy over the course of July. All right, so we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is going back to school, and that was kind of like the advisor energy that I was seeing. Notice how on this card we have that helping hand in the background. This was reversed, which is showing me that for many of you, there's been a lot of just like introspective personal work. This isn't necessarily even going to college. This could just be deciding, like, I really want to understand more about this, or I want to improve upon this aspect of my life. So whether it's, you know, just trying to heal the past or learn about something that you like and just spend a little bit of time doing it for yourself, that all is part of this. But if you were thinking of changing your career, going back to school, this card is fantastic. It shows a return on the energy, and it shows, it's kind of the card of apprenticeship. Three of Pentacles is usually the card of mastery. So there's some work to do. There's a lot that you'll get from it. It looks very fulfilling. So finish something that you didn't finish before. That is, for many of you, what the Eight of Cups is about. It's picking that from the past and finishing it up this time and feeling like, okay, I've made peace with that now. All right. What I like with this Eight of Pentacles is that we actually see kind of the Three of Pentacles up there in the corner. So it's showing you can get to that place of perfection, of recognition. And I saw 2 to 3 years. So for some of you, it could just be finishing up a degree, or it could be deciding like I need to study under somebody so that I can get that level of understanding of personal growth that I didn't get before. So put the energy in on you somehow, okay? Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles here, a mama bear. Makes me laugh a little bit. So the card was reversed, and I think this was the sort of Mars energy that was coming through, and also the stingray. So what I want you to be mindful of this month is, what is it that you want to fight for? And is it a time when maybe you can pull back a little bit and just fight for what matters for you, not just get involved in every which way? And there's so much going on in the world right now, right? Between major health issues, major political issues, a lot of change with fighting for equal rights. All of these things are important, but you got to pick what's right for you. And as you do that, you're going to start to be able to have more capacity to change yourself and that particular cause. So I would say take the scope, narrow it, do one thing at a time so that you don't have this sort of ping-ponging energy that's pulling you in different directions all the time. And fight, but fight for what matters. And if there's one thing that you really, really care about, like, go for it. The Queen of Pentacles actually is usually a very gentle energy, so that's why it's kind of funny that we have this bear. For me, it's a card of house and home. So for some of you, you may be deciding to focus more on how you feel about your work environment, your home environment, like where you're spending the most time. Make it feel cozier. You know, buy some flowers, clean it up, rearrange the furniture. For some of you, you might be deciding to start a family. You could also be birthing a project or a baby. But in that meditation, when I was with the guide, that was something that the guide was conveying to me sort of psychically, which was, don't compare yourself again to others. You are here now so that you can do this. You have this one thing, whatever it is for you, to birth, to give to the world. So it can be a symbolic birth or rebirth for you. And that's what we're also seeing with this. Lots of transformative energy. Butterflies have been all over my readings for the past month. So I feel like July is going to open up, and you could exit the month a lot different than when you started it. And the first time we've got a Wands card here, we have the Ace of Bows here. And so now we can have a combination between the thought or the idea and, well, actually thought and idea and action. So I feel like this month, there's some great opportunities opening up. It's really a matter of pulling together the tools too, because when I see these two together, it's kind of like perfect alignment. So for some of you, if you have a great idea, the Ace of Bows, in this case, the Ace of Wands, I want you to do something about it, the Ace of Swords. That came out in your general spread. So ideation to execution, big thing that's coming through for you. And also, I feel like you could exit the month with vitality. For me, you know, both of these cards indicate this sort of inner opening or awakening. You get up in the morning and you feel like, I'm looking forward to doing something. if that hasn't happened for you historically, this is a time to figure out, like, how can I get a little bit more into that energy? This particular Ace of Bows, it actually reminds me almost of an instrument too. And I think sometimes we spend our life harmonizing or playing other people's songs. And so instead of playing backup, I want you to step to the front. I want you to be the lead instrumentalist or the lead vocalist. And that's what we're kind of seeing with the voice there too. Speak your truth, shine for a moment, do what you need to do, make your impact on this world. Your guide was kind of coming through to me with a really nurturing energy saying, not only can you do it, but you should do it right now. And it's an exciting journey, not just in July. I mean, this reading was actually starting, it's to plant the seeds in July, but it's really for the next couple of years. So if there ever was a year that would be Saturn-like, it's 2020. It's a mess. Everything that we need to deal with, here it is, deal with it. But it's showing me that probably by the time 2023 comes around, we'll be in a much different place. We will have integrated these lessons and it'll be a better world because of it. We just have to get through the mess of the present. So I see a beautiful future, and I think that's what we have to start to focus on. And we need to go through the energy of these planets. So I'm going to take us through the planets in the meditation because they came through my dreams last night. So I'll try to pull them into our meditation as well. I'm going to get my singing bowl ready. While I'm getting everything set up here, if you haven't already clicked subscribe, I'd love for you to do that. It just takes a minute and it helps YouTube kind of recommend my channel and shows that this is something that you enjoy so you won't miss a future video. If it doesn't take you out of the live feed, you can click the thumbs up too. Otherwise, you can do that when this is done. And that's all I was going to say. So thank you if you can do that. It does mean a lot. It's a little, but it means a lot to me. Okay, so find yourself in a nice comfortably seated position, just like Apollo did. And I just want you to close your eyes. I'm going to take a drink here, and then I'll start our meditation. All right. Take a moment to just tune into your body. And, you know, when the Ten of Swords comes through, a lot of times that can mean that there is a feeling of, sometimes it's like a full stop. We've integrated too much energy of pain, or we beat ourselves up a little bit too much. So whatever part of your body you tend to sort of like hold that pain or that stress in, I want you to honor your wonderful strength and journey to get you where you're at today and think, you know what, I didn't fail. I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. And I want you to find your inner star. We have that beautiful North Pole star coming here, or the pole star, I should say. And I just want you to find your light. Imagine that your light perhaps is coming from your third eye, because I want this singing bowl is going to help you open up that third eye. And we're going to travel through a beam of light from that third eye to go out of our bodies and integrate the messages of these planets like we saw earlier. Okay, so if you haven't already closed your eyes and take a moment to allow for the earth to give you that hug that you need. And in this moment, if there's anything that you feel like, I'm so tired of this, I'm tired of the stress of work, I'm tired of the stress of, if you have a family or children that are depending on you, if you have a partner that you've been fighting with, if you've been working really hard at school and you miss being able to see the teachers and the friends, if you just want to hug someone and you can't, in this moment, let it all go and give it to the planet, and give it as an offering, not as angry sort of offering, just like, help me, this is something that I no longer need. Thanks for the lesson, but I'm going to release it now. And please just help me transform that into something else. This is yours. This is a gift. I want something higher and brighter. And just feel this sort of loving, knowing energy coming from the planet that really is our universal mother. We all owe our birth to that. And she can heal you. She's giving you this sort of hug. She's also going to hold you as we do this meditation. So you'll be safe. And whatever you don't need, she's going to take. And that's all you need to do. Close your eyes. Go into your third eye. And if you need to connect with our own sun for a moment, you can do that. Feel the warmth and radiance as it shines onto your third eye. And imagine that you can start to feel the fire within you, to the point that you can now turn your gaze towards the night sky above you, looking up at the planets. You can actually, you have the ability now to, like a rocket, take off and energetically move towards it. So look up towards the sky and find Mars. And I'd like for you to take a moment to leave Earth. Imagine that you're traveling through a star beam that's coming from your third eye, moving towards the planet Mars. As you're moving through this beam of light, take your time to look back over your shoulders and really take in the sights of Earth. Sometimes we forget how beautiful this planet is. This little swirling mass of blue oceans, white clouds, and beautiful green trees and blue mountains. As you look back, this swirling sort of globe, it almost looks like a marble in the sky. As you get further and further away from it, you realize both how big and how small it is, and what a bigger path you have in this universe than your life right now, whether it's, you know, being a mom, being a teacher, being a son, being a daughter, being a student. You're more than the sum of those titles. You're more than even just being an earthling. This is a big universe. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of life. There's a lot of light out there. It's not just us. Getting out of our bodies sometimes helps us understand that, you know, we can handle this, and we've done this before. And as you start to travel towards the planet, you can now see the moons of Mars. And I want you to take a moment to just take an orbit or two around Mars, looking at those two moons, and decide in your life, what path are you taking? The path of integration or the path of exploration? Is a little bit of both, maybe? You have to decide what matters to you, because remember, focus is important. I think it would be really good for you to do one and then do the other, perhaps. So make a choice at this venture and then follow that orbit. And take a deep breath. And in this moment, I just want you to feel like it's okay. You're going to be all right. We're going to end our meditation in Jupiter itself, but I want you to take a moment and go to Saturn. See yourself now as part of the ring structure, circling around the planet. It's a beautiful planet, actually, even though it gets a bad rap. And as you start to move around it, I want you to start to pick up speed. These rings aren't just solid. They're very fast-moving rocks. So imagine that you're going to use the orbit of Saturn to get you over to Jupiter. And in this, you realize that whatever it is that's been difficult to work through, it's actually going to make the next chapter go faster. We're going to boomerang with the energy of Saturn into Jupiter. And I want you just to go straight into the heart of this planet. Beneath all the clouds, in a place where no human's ever gone, you're going into the heart of this planet. And imagine that you could find your inner star here. Jupiter's kind of a failed star. It has all the elements necessary to be a star, just not the gravity to kind of make it happen. Let's imagine that in our own reality, in our own moment, we're going to go inside Jupiter and kind of find our inner energy and come out of it as a star, like shining bright, like a phoenix. And we'll take that light and come back to Earth afterwards. But really integrate and enjoy being cocooned in the energy of Jupiter, and start to figure out who you are, what you want to be, and see yourself growing, developing, changing. And then we're going to fly out of this planet and come back into your body. All right, take a deep breath, listen to the sound, and just focus on expanding and going into your dreams, what it is you truly want to be. Imagine that within the wonderful envelope of energy that is the planet Jupiter, you found a new version of yourself. Whether it's a butterfly or you see yourself literally being reborn as a new child, a new baby, or the Fool card stepping out on a new journey, see that genesis taking place, mind, body, and spirit. Imagine that through your third eye, there is a beam of light that is so bright, so strong, that it envelops your person, your body. And you exit the planet like a shooting star, beaming towards your body back on Earth, but you're taking your time in this journey, looking at the solar system, the vastness of ours, looking at the vastness of the universe as a whole, realizing that there may be even more than one universe as well, and understanding in this moment all of the potential energy that you have. You are reborn in this moment. Your third eye is wide open. It actually has allowed you to transform into something bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than you could imagine. And you're traveling through that beam of understanding and light back into your own third eye in this planet, in this space and time. And I want you to integrate with your body and realize now that you've always had the power to go after your dreams. You've always had the ability to shift and to change, that whether you walk the path alone or with another partner, it doesn't matter. It's your journey. It's your exploration. What's most important is the authenticity, the transparency, the self-fulfillment. And if you're starting to feel that strength, then you've really integrated the energies of Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter today, bringing you into this sort of super version of yourself. Superwoman, Superman, superhero, it doesn't matter. So I want you to take a nice deep breath and feel your body really kind of coming back into alignment, the energetic body and the physical body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Third eye is already open. And welcome back, everybody. That was an intense meditation and reading in general. A lot of powerful energy and opportunities coming through for Pisces this month. Again, if you're looking just for a love reading, to me, this month is not so much about that. There is a chance for a reunion. I saw that. I'm not necessarily getting a specific sign for those of you looking. It's not about that this month. It's really about personal growth and understanding. So if you have love and relationships in your life, awesome. They're going to benefit from the work that you're doing on yourself. If you don't beat yourself up, because right now it's about personal growth. So that's the main message this month. If I see it, I say it. If I don't invent it. And so if you're looking for love, fix these things that we talked about, particularly the 10 of Swords and the transparency with existing relationships with that trickery card. And I think you're going to be in a better space. August ostensibly will bring in more relationship opportunities in that particular area. Okay, thank you so much. I want to just take a moment to, again, express some gratitude for anybody that was kind enough to give a super chat. If you've done that, I'll put a little thank you when this is on replay. If you would like to connect with me, I would love for you to do that. Everything that I'm about to go over is on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. And first things first, if you want to do social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram mostly, but I'd love for you to join me, first of all, here. So hit subscribe if you haven't. Facebook, my username is exactly this, @NicholasAshbaugh. Same thing on YouTube. Patreon, if you'd like to support me with like $1 a month, that's another way you can do it. Same username across all three. On Instagram, there's an underscore between the first and last name, so Nicholas_Ashbaugh. Both Facebook and Instagram, I use stories with clickable links. So when I do live readings, you can just swipe up and go straight to the video. So that's a nice thing. I also do reminders on Instagram, plus a bunch of pictures of my dog Apollo. So feel free to join me there. Instagram @NAshbaugh. And finally, if you just want to do a one-time contribution through PayPal, it's paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh. All of these, again, on my website. If you forgot any of them, you can just go to the main page of YouTube and click on About. It's all listed there too. So you don't have to worry about scribbling it down or trying to search my name. I see some weird spellings for my last name. It's there on the channel, but I know it's a hard one. So just go to the main page if you need to. Thank you. Or Ryan just posted some of this as well. So thank you so much for being present today. I hope that you enjoyed this. More astrology heavy than usual. I'm really first and foremost, I'm a tarot reader, but for whatever reason, last night my guides were hammering in basically the planets. I was spending my whole night kind of traveling through the planets and looking at moons and things. So I think there's some benefit in doing some research in your own chart, figuring out particularly when your Saturn return is. That actually would be really important, and look a little bit into Jupiter and things like that. It could help you out, okay? All right, thanks everybody. That's it for the month of July. I will be posting dates again for August, believe it or not. I always read a month ahead. So I'll be posting those dates probably within the next week. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, it's also on my website. And if you go to the social media tab or just newsletter, it's there, you'll find it. And I can post a link if you need it. But anyway, thank you so much. In the newsletter, I announce the dates and also post all the links to all the videos. And on my Facebook page, I do that as well, and also on Twitter. So those are great places to kind of get the overall links if you've missed anything. That's it. Much love and light. Thanks, everybody. It's been a great month. This was a great journey today. I wish you all the best, okay? Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.